this episode of Between Two Teachers. I'm Madeline Kronenberg.
And I'm Consuelo Lara.
And we have a lot to discuss this week about happenings at the beginning of the school year in West Contra Costa. The first thing that happened last week, which I missed, but I did watch the replay of it that Mr. Gosney created. And so for all of us who are fans of his channel, he goes to meetings and events and does create them for us, give us a video link. Anyway, is the opening, the long-awaited opening of Pinole Valley High School. And Pinole Valley is the result of a bond measure that was passed a number of years ago with tremendous support from throughout the entire district. It was a school that a number of people worked together on to determine the programming of the school, which is to say what types of classrooms they needed, how big the theater needed to be, what needed to be built for the dreams of the people of Pinole. And I'm so happy to see it come to fruition. A lot of us who were around in the earlier times and when this dream first started weren't able to attend the event, but at least we did get to see it, and we certainly can see the building. But you attended the event, so tell us, what did you think? And did you take a tour?
We did, yeah. So I got to stay sitting in the sun for quite a while. Heard a lot of complaints. People thought it was too long. There were too many speakers, but I thought it was fine. I enjoyed that, hearing from students. We had a couple of students there. Nancy Skinner was there. Let's see, from the county, Sarah Butler was also there. So everybody came, and I understand all of the city council from Pinole, they were there, as well as Hercules. And it was wonderful to hear people, so many people who were alumni from, from the school. So, I mean, just the pride that everybody had, you could just see it. So, when I first got there, I got there a little early, and I saw somebody sitting there just kind of looking around, and I thought he was a student, but it turned out he was one of the architects. And he looked a little emotional, in fact, because it's just really beautiful. It is, and to see something go from, drawings on a paper to reality, it just must be
Well, I mean,
powerful.
even before the drawings, when people were just talking about, I went to meetings at Saturday mornings at 7 o'clock to talk about how we were going to put the bond measure together to try to raise the money to do it, and what the opposition was going to be, and how we had to go forward. And there were people who I saw who were there who actually were part of the opposition. But whether you decide to oppose a particular measure or not, ultimately the majority gets to rule, and when it got passed, everyone gets to pay for it, and everybody gets to enjoy it. That's how democracy works.
What you paid for, and I think it was worth it. I just think it's gorgeous, and it looks like almost like a college campus. And one thing I didn't get to see was the theater, the 600.
Because they're not ready yet, right?
Not ready yet. I saw pictures. It just looks gorgeous.
They're going to do a wonderful job. All of our creative arts are strong programs, and it's important to give them the same type of facilities that we also give to our sports teams, right? Because all of those things are parts of the broader academic program and support the broader academic program. So it's very good.
Was the principal. He was the one that gave us our tour. We went into the library and saw this beautiful video that they put together. And I believe, what's his last name? Gomes, I think. He had used a drone. And so it was like you could see it just rising out of the ground. And this drone would just go by, and they put it all to music. It was very nice to see that from the begining. And
we'll have to get a copy of it and then link it to the channel so that everybody who's watching us can get a chance to see it too.
Yeah. I forgot where they said that it is going to be posted and available. It was beautiful.
It should be on the district site or on the Pinole Valley. Maybe it'll be on the Pinole Valley website. That's probably where it is.
So everybody was very proud of it, and Kibby was saying they're practicing volleyball right now, and they're using it right away.
Right.
So it's I think everybody can be really proud of it. And there's already like these rumors. Somebody said, "Is it true?" I think it was a student. They have glass stairs. I said, "Well, no, they have marble stairs with glass all around where you could." So the light, the way they figured out to make it so light accessible, it's just miraculous.
It was really well done, and I will say that the city council members had a big part in it, but none of those city council members are still on the city council.
Yeah.
So these are, this is one of these things where you work and the fruits of your labors may happen later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
That was a good.
That was a good thing that happened. And then I went to yesterday to the Richmond High School freshman orientation, and it was really great. They welcomed the freshmen, and as they went up this walkway to get up in the bleachers, they had a line of the Link crew, and they would applaud for them.
And these are upperclassmen, right?
Yes, the upperclassmen, to greet them and to welcome them. And so they were, and then they went on tours. They had a big, huge group of parents there, and Mr. Hillier and also Bertha Romo were giving a presentation for them about the school. And then I talked to a teacher who said that they had this great professional development. He said, yeah, things are going smoothly. They like the new schedule. And it was almost like, okay, usually you complain. And everybody goes, what's going to happen? What? It's just like too good. It's too good to be true. They've moved offices around. They've changed some, the way that the structure is in the building, in the front office a little bit. So I think things are really moving along there, and it's really good to see. It was really positive. So it was fun to be there, bright and shiny. So that was Richmond High.
All right, and Monday morning, everybody starts school for real.
Yes.
All right, but we will be on the road.
We will not be there.
No, we will not be
miss
there.
the first day of school.
Right.
Because we're going to Sacramento for a hearing on 1505. Want to tell them what that is?
1505 is, and we've discussed this. If you're a follower of this channel, you know that we've discussed 1505 before. This is Assembly Bill 1505 in Sacramento, and Assembly Bill 1505 speaks to our charter school law. And the purpose of 1505 is to keep, our purpose in particular, is to make sure that a bill gets passed that stops the hemorrhaging of money from our district schools into the charter schools, into the private coffers of these private organizations. And in particular, schools that are, districts that are, the new term is saturated, overly saturated with charter schools, so that they're losing so much funding because they're losing so many students who are recruited away from them that they're no longer able to pay their bills, and they wind up being in deficit spending. So 1505 was written. It follows the Charter School Task Force recommendations. It's had some amendments made. I'm really curious in the end to see exactly how it's going to be amended, if there are any other changes made. But West Contra Costa passed a charter school resolution earlier this year, which allows us, Ms. Trustee Laura, to be able to speak for the school district and say that the West Contra Costa School District certainly supports the passage of 1505, and I'm going to be there representing Public Core, and Public Core certainly supports 1505. It's very important. This is not the final step, but it is an important next step. And as we move forward, what we have to do is really just be vigilant, because what we're really trying to do is protect the resources that are available for our children, so that they're not going to be have to suffer and lose we build these beautiful new schools and they're going to have empty rooms because you're not going to have the money to pay the teachers. You're going to have increased class sizes and empty rooms, and that's not the recipe for success. So 1505 is something that will help us in the next step to try to reclaim education in California.
The most important thing about 1505, school districts, school boards have to have the power to say whether or not a charter school is going to be in their district, and and based on the financial impact.
Right.
That's the point. If we can't, it's like saying, oh, we don't have enough money, but let's go spend a bunch of money. Let's buy a new car anyway, even though we don't have enough money. That's not physically responsible. So we can't afford these charter schools anymore. And because we are saturated, and we have to be able to say no.
Right.
But the way the law is set up, you can't even say no.
Right. And no other elected official in any other agency has to vote against their oath of office like a school board member has to. Because you take an oath of office that you will protect this agency, this school district, and that you will do what is right to make sure that it can move ahead and serve its children. And if you are voting to approve, because the law, this is the problem, the law is at odds with itself. If you can't be forced, as you are now, to vote to approve something that will hurt your children. And that's what the big change is that has to be made.
And so there just can be no appeal process where they can go to the county, then they can go to, that has to be eliminated as well. And the fact that, I don't know, is the money such an influence on even Democratic politicians that they're going to water it down, or that they're going to, I'm just confused about that. Who is doing that? Who is paying who? And why they do not see this as really necessary?
Right.
And I'm just...
This isn't about the argument. The argument that gets conflated here is, there are some good charter schools.
Oh.
That's where the confusion is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because what we're talking about is the way this is structured. And the way it is structured is that any charter, the money follows the children. And when the children leave the district, that funding is gone. And they're being recruited out of the district. And the funding, the bills they leave behind have to be paid by a smaller group of children. And that's why those children then have fewer and fewer services.
Exactly. And for our district, it is to the tune of $27.9 million
a year.
Every year. So this is a really important thing for us, especially in West Contra Costa.
And if more children go to charter schools, that number will only grow.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to Sacramento on Monday morning.
Yes.
So we'll report back and let you know. I'll put it on our Facebook page. I want to thank everybody who has gone onto our Facebook page. I hope you do share it out with other folks on your own page. We try to include as much information as possible, things that we've talked about here. In addition to posting it on our YouTube channel, I realize that there are a lot, there are folks that are going to prefer to be on the Facebook page, or for that matter, on LinkedIn. But if you come to us through LinkedIn, you'll wind up on YouTube. So that's that.
Pretty much it. Well, I have to do a shout out. There was a job fair up at Hilltop, Fairmead, the church at Hilltop, and it was a great success. And so it's a shout out to Arto Rinteela. Sorry if I...
Who is probably watching. So hi, Arto.
And it did a great job. It was awesome because I'm all about the industrial arts and the trades and the unions, and so I was just very pleased with it, and looked like it was a big success. So shout out to him.
I did want to mention the housing. That we had a housing. We talked about workforce housing a year ago, and the district had a report done, and there had been an update of the report given back in April, and the at that point, it's been determined that there are some properties that are not going to be able to be used either to rebuild schools or to rebuild housing, which is an interesting set of circumstances, and it may be that there are other ways to look at that. But as of right now, that seems to be where that was left. It wasn't brought back from the facilities subcommittee to the board agenda. You never got a report on that. So I'm curious where the board is with that. I think it is important that the workforce housing be something that is a high priority. There may be ways to partner with our cities. There may be ways that there would be other properties available that haven't been explored yet. One thing we need to know is that the cities that are being successful here, I mean, the kinds of properties they're using are like the parking lot to somebody's putting up a whole apartment building on a parking lot. We have parking lots. Mm-hmm. We have space. I mean, so if there is the political will to do it, I think we can do it. And I think that it's a mistake for us really not to do it. So that just because this particular feasibility study and the strategies around it haven't proven successful yet, it seems to me like that all that means is that we need to look at how we're going to find the answer a different way and just look for other properties.
Time is now.
Time is now.
Considering the teacher shortage, considering the housing shortage.
Berkeley's doing it, Pittsburgh's doing it, San Francisco's doing it, Palo Alto's doing it, Mountain View's doing it, Santa Clara's doing it. Yeah. Right? We have property. There may be ways that, I'm not even going to suggest what all the creative ways may be, but I think we haven't explored any creative ways. We did a very, very straightforward feasibility study, and what that showed us in the end is that we need to look at some other ways to do it. So I just want to throw that out there because I think it's important that we continue the conversation, and it seems like we haven't continued the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll be hearing more about that.
You'll be hearing more about it. I've posted the links to all of those districts that have programs in the works on our Facebook page. So what you're going to notice is what I'm going to start to do on the Facebook page is also pull out presentations that are of particular interest from the board agenda, so you can read it there, because the board agenda could be tricky to get through, and not everybody want to read everything that's on it. But anything I think we're going to talk about that I think is important for the public to discuss, I'll pull off and put on our Facebook page. And I'll also put it on our YouTube channel, because I think that's one of the ways that we can highlight things. And so I've done that, and I'll continue to do that, and I hope that you do remember to like our channel, like our Facebook page, follow us, subscribe.
So I'll see you all on Wednesday if you watch the board meeting. So goodbye now for now.
Bye-bye.